Okay, so you know that feeling when you kind of just go along with what everyone else is doing,
Hmm.
even if, like, deep down, it doesn't feel quite right?
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe you've nodded yes when really inside you are thinking, absolutely not, just to fit in.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Happens all the time.
Well, trust me, if that's you, you are definitely not alone.
No, not at all. And that's actually exactly what we're going to dive deep into today.
Mm-hmm.
Peer pressure.
Right.
We'll unpack what it really is, um, why it feels so powerful sometimes,
Yeah.
and most importantly, give you some real practical ways to handle it.
And we're pulling all this insight straight from Klebitude text, specifically a section called Inner Light, Teen Edition Growing Stronger, One Story at a Time.
Exactly. So think of this as us digging through that source and pulling out the key stuff for you,
Like a shortcut to understanding it better?
pretty much.
Yeah.
Our mission here is just to give you a clear picture of peer pressure and some solid tools you can actually use.
Okay, let's do it. So, defining it first. Peer pressure. What does that actually look like in the real world?
Well, at its core, it's influence, right? Influence from people your age, your peers.
Mhm.
It pushes you towards doing certain things or maybe thinking certain ways.
Mhm.
And the source material points out it can be super obvious or way more subtle.
Yeah, I think we all know the obvious ones that come on, everyone's doing it.
Classic.
Or the don't be such a baby line. Ugh.
Right. Or that threat, if you don't do this, you're not really our friend. That one stings.
Yeah, those are pretty easy to spot. But what about the subtle stuff?
Well, that's where it gets interesting. The source mentions it can just be this, like, this feeling of being left out if you don't do what the group is doing.
Okay, so nobody's even saying anything directly, but you feel it.
Exactly. That need to belong is, well, it's powerful. It can make you do things without anyone even explicitly pressuring you.
Okay, but it's important to say, and the source brings this up, it's not always a negative thing, right?
Absolutely crucial point. Peer pressure can actually be positive.
How so?
Well, think about being encouraged to try out for a sports team, maybe. Or, buckling down to study because your friends are all hitting the books.
Right. Or even finding the guts to stand up for someone who's being picked on because your friends are doing it too.
Exactly. Positive peer influence is totally real. But yeah, the source definitely focuses more on the flip side, the negative pressure.
Towards stuff that feels risky or just
No.
wrong.
Things like drinking or vaping, maybe cheating on a test,
Mm.
even bullying someone, or it's generally doing things that clash with your gut feeling.
Okay, so we get what it is. But why? Why does it feel so intense sometimes? What gives it that pull?
Okay, this part is fascinating. The source touches on, like, the brain science behind it, especially for teens.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, basically, during your teenage years, your brain is kind of wired to care more about what your peers think. There are parts of the brain linked to social rewards and the fear of being rejected that become more active.
So it's not just me being weird, it's actually biological to some extent.
Pretty much. It's not like a flaw or anything. It probably helped us, stick together in groups way back when. But it does make you really sensitive to fitting in.
Wow, okay. That actually makes a lot of sense. So it's deeper than just wanting to be popular.
Exactly. And that intense drive for connection means it's kind of easy to slide into situations where, well, you're acting more to please the group than to be true to yourself.
Yeah, I can see that. And the source gives some really good, everyday examples of where this pops up. Should we run through a few?
Definitely.
Yeah.
The classic one, being at a party, maybe feeling pressured to drink alcohol even if you really don't want to.
Mm-hmm. Or, laughing along with a joke, making fun of someone just because your friends are doing it and you don't want to be the odd one out.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Or even feeling like you have to wear certain clothes or follow specific trends, even if it's totally not your style.
Just to feel like you belong to that group.
Right. And it's not just in person either. The source talks about online pressure too,
Oh, yeah. Like what?
like feeling you need to post certain kinds of pictures or updates, maybe stuff that makes you feel a bit uncomfortable,
Yeah.
just to keep up appearances online.
Gotcha. And then they're skipping class because your friends think it's cool.
Yep. Or, and this is a big one, feeling pressured in relationship situations. Saying yes to something physical or romantic when you're not really feeling it.
Hearing all those examples, it's kind of a relief, isn't it, to know that if you felt that pressure, you're definitely not alone. It's super common.
Totally. It's a very human thing. But just because it's common doesn't mean it can't cause harm. The source is pretty clear about the negative impacts.
Right. Let's talk about those downsides. What kind of harm are we talking about?
Well, first off, there's that internal feeling. Feeling like fake,
Hmm.
or guilty, just uncomfortable because your actions aren't matching who you are inside.
Yeah, that dissonance.
Exactly. And doing that over and over, it can really start to damage your self-esteem. It chips away at how you feel about yourself.
That makes total sense. If you're constantly pretending, how can you feel good about the real you?
Precisely.
Mm.
And then there are the more external consequences. The source mentions serious stuff,
Mm.
like getting into accidents, potential legal trouble, even hurting yourself or someone else because you were pressured into doing something risky.
Wow. Okay. So real world impacts.
Definitely. And the source also points out how it can mess up your relationships with people who actually care about you.
Like family
Yeah.
or maybe other friends.
Yeah. If you keep giving in to negative pressure, it can break down trust with the people who have your back.
Okay. So it's common, it's powerful, it can be harmful. The big question is, what do we do about it? How do we handle it?
Right. And luckily, the source offers some really practical tools, actual strategies. Let's get into those.
Yes, the action plan. The first one starts with knowing yourself, right?
Mhm.
Knowing your values.
Exactly. It's all about self-reflection, taking time to figure out what you actually believe in, what kind of person you want to be.
Like what's important to you.
Yeah. The source gives examples like kindness, honesty, health, respect. When you know what your core values are, they act like like an internal shield.
A compass.
Yeah, a compass. Makes it easier to stay on track when the pressure hits.
And there's that quick tip in the source actually writing down your top 3 values.
Which sounds simple, but it's powerful. Makes them concrete, like your personal rules to live by.
Okay, value check. Got it. What's next? This one sounds hard. Practicing saying no.
Yeah, it can be really tough in the moment. But the source gives some actual phrases you can have ready.
Like what? Give me some ammo.
Okay, simple stuff. No thanks, I'm good. Or, nah, that's not really my thing. Or even just, I've got other plans.
Okay, direct.
And I really like this one. I don't feel comfortable with that. It's honest and sets a clear boundary. No apologies needed.
And the source actually suggests practicing them, like in a mirror. Feels a bit weird.
It might feel weird, but it's like rehearsing lines for a play. It builds muscle memory. So when you're actually in that pressured situation, the words come out more easily. You're not scrambling.
Okay, I can see that. Practice makes, well, maybe not perfect, but easier. What's strategy number 3?
This one's clever. Use humor or change the subject.
Ooh, I like the sound of that. Less direct confrontation.
Exactly. The source gives an example like, man, if I had $1 for every time someone offered me that, I'd be rich.
Yeah, something lighthearted.
It kind of diffuses the tension without making a big deal out of it.
Or you can just quickly pivot. Like, nah, I'm good. Hey, speaking of which, did you hear about just shift the focus completely?
Smooth. Okay, number 4 seems really, really important. Finding friends who actually respect you.
Oh, totally essential. The source really hammers this home. Surround yourself with people who respect your choices, even when you say no or do something different.
True friends. True friends. And here's the tough part the source mentions. If someone ditches you as a friend just because you wouldn't go along with them,
Yeah.
they probably weren't a real friend to begin with.
Oof. That's a hard truth, but yeah, probably accurate. Better to have a few good ones.
Quality over quantity, for
Yeah.
sure. Okay, strategy 5. Have an escape plan.
Like a secret agent.
Kinda. It's about thinking ahead. If you know you're walking into a potentially tricky situation.
Like a party where you know there might be pressure.
Exactly. Have a way out plan before you go. The source suggests things like a code word you can text a parent or a trusted adult.
Oh, smart. Like a secret signal for get me out of here.
Yep, discreet and effective. Also, having your own ride, if possible.
So you're not stuck relying on the people who might be doing the thing you want to avoid.
Right. Gives you independence to leave when you want to. Makes a huge difference.
Okay, good practical tips. What's the last strategy?
The last one is maybe the most fundamental. Trust your gut.
That little inner voice, your intuition.
That's the one. That feeling you get when something just doesn't sit right. The source really emphasizes, listen to that feeling.
And you don't need to apologize for it.
Never. You don't need to justify prioritizing your own comfort and safety. It's okay to just say, this doesn't feel right for me, and leave it at that.
Wow. Okay, so those are the 6 strategies. Know your values, practice saying no, use humor or change the subject, find respectful friends, have an escape plan, and trust your gut.
You got it. And the source includes a cool little quick action challenge to help make this stick.
Oh yeah? What's that?
It basically encourages you to think about a past situation where you felt peer pressure
Okay.
and then mentally replay it.
Yeah.
But this time, Visualize yourself using one of these strategies and responding confidently the way you wish you had.
Ah, like a mental do-over.
Exactly. And then imagine how proud you'd feel afterwards for choosing yourself, for sticking to your guns. It helps lock in that positive feeling.
That's actually a really powerful exercise, feeling that pride in choosing yourself.
It really is. So, as we kind of wrap this up, the big takeaway from the source is,
Yeah.
yeah, fitting in can feel really important, almost urgent sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But being true to who you actually are,
Mm-hmm.
that's ultimately way more powerful and honestly more rewarding in the long run.
Absolutely. And just want to say directly to you listening, you really are enough, exactly as you are right now.
Yeah.
You don't need to bend yourself into shapes for people who wouldn't accept the real you anyway.
Couldn't agree more. Which leads us to maybe a final thought for you to chew on.
Yeah.
Now that you've heard about these tools, what's maybe one small thing, just one tiny step you could take this week to honor your own boundaries a bit more, to be a little more true to yourself?
Something to think about. Great insights today, really practical stuff pulled from Inner Light, Teen Edition. Thanks for diving deep with us on this.